marijuana prescription. But in a regular pharmacy like Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, you should not see a C1 prescription. I said crack cocaine is C1, but cocaine as an anesthetic is still seen in hospital as C2. Take note of that. Crack cocaine is C1, but cocaine as an anesthetic is still seen in hospitals as C2. Important information about C2s. C2 prescription only lasts 14 days. The validity is only for 14 days. You should not refill the C2 after 14 days. And day one starts, say for example, the prescription is written today. Day one starts tomorrow. So if it's August 24th today, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. September 7th is the last day you're gonna fill a C2 prescription, okay? But believe it or not, here in the United States, you will see patients filling the prescription, asking that their prescription be filled in a matter of an hour to 2 hours, because they're supposedly in so much pain and they need that. You also have to be aware that America has an opioid epidemic crisis, an opioid crisis happening, okay? Because these are abused right now. A lot of the overdose happening is because of narcotics or opioids, not because of other street drugs, okay? That's why we try to put so much control on this. C2 prescription is valid for 14 days, okay? These are Nevada laws, okay? C3 to C5. Anyone who knows how long this prescription lasts for? What is it?
6 months.
Correct. Prescription is good for 6 months, okay? You're allowed 5 refills for C3 to C5. For C2, you're not allowed any refill. It must always be a brand new prescription, okay? The doctor must sign it in black ink. No pre-signed, no electronically signed. It has to be ink signed black. Always a brand new prescription for C2. C3 to C5 lasts for 6 months. The validity is for 6 months. You're allowed 5 refills because the initial fill is your first fill. And then the refills are the succeeding ones. So it lasts 6 months. Other prescription medications, other RX, okay? It's supposed to be capital R, lowercase x, hint, hint, wink, wink on your quiz, okay? So other prescription medications, the validity, like your maintenance drugs, okay? There's still prescription maintenance for heart, for hypertension, for GERD. They last 12 months, okay? And the refill allowed is 12 refills, which makes it a total of 13. The initial fill plus 12 months of refill, okay? These prescription drugs are your maintenance drugs. Why is that? So that 1 month you still have a buffer to schedule for a doctor's appointment, okay? Remember, usually you go for your annual check, annual wellness exam. That 1 month buffer allows you to have your meds or your prescription, or a patient have their prescription before they could see their doctor for their annual wellness exam. Is that clear? Okay, these are all important information that's in the audio lecture, but I'd like to mention it because we talked about C4 Ambien. Okay, so this is real quick. I actually make a table, writing it on the table. If we're in the classroom, I'm making a table as I'm talking about this. The drug class or the DEA classification, the uses, the validity, the number of refills, and important information. That's how my table would go, okay? And then I break it down by C1, C2, C3, C4, and C5, and then prescription drug. Thank you, Christine. Do not forget this, that zolpidem is for sleep. Okay, one more important information. Okay, a lot of prescribers, and I like this group of prescribers, don't jump to prescribing controlled substances, okay? Because of our problem. What do they usually give when they prescribe? A patient comes to them talking about, I haven't slept. They prescribe antihistamine, okay? Particularly Benadryl, but they don't write Benadryl. They write diphenhydramine, where most diphenhydramine, where most patients don't know what diphenhydramine is. But diphenhydramine is Benadryl, okay? So I like this group of doctors who will prescribe non-controlled first, antihistamine, when patients come to them complaining about not being able to sleep or having difficulty sleeping or insomnia, okay? And then they'll switch it up to cetirizine, which is your Zyrtec, another antihistamine. So they'd start off with antihistamine that has high drowsy effect, such as Benadryl, okay? They'd write it off as diphenhydramine. And then the patients who didn't know will come back and say, oh my God, that really worked. It knocked me out. Not that they know that this is actually Benadryl, okay? So Benadryl doesn't have effect on me on the sleepy part, but it does have an effect on me on allergies. So it's quick acting. When I had, like, I didn't know I was allergic to blue crabs. I visited my sister in California one time, and we went eating at the, you know, where you choose seafood, and then they cook it for you. And I'm lazy at peeling off shellfish, so they were doing it for me. And when I had the blue crab, I had welts all over. That's why I carry Benadryl with me. I didn't know I was allergic to that because I've been eating crabs, but the big crabs, like I like crab legs. That one I didn't know. So luckily Miss carries Benadryl with her. I always carry Benadryl too because my son has pollen allergies. So sometimes his eye will just swell up like big like that. And Benadryl would work on the swelling part because it's allergies. I know it's allergies, but he also doesn't get drowsy or sleepy, okay? But for most people, okay, Benadryl has a high drowsy effect. That's why when you're on controlled substances and antihistamine that cause sleepiness and drowsiness, one of the auxiliary labels on your prescription is do not operate heavy machinery when on this prescription, and that includes driving, okay? Is that clear? So I like this group of doctors who prescribe non-controlled. They prescribe antihistamine first when it comes to sleep problems or sleep disorder. When they've tried all the antihistamine and still doesn't work, maybe, okay? And Ambien can be in combination with other antidepressants too, okay? If the problem is really there's suicidal thoughts, and we're going to talk about that with the other drugs. I used Benadryl on my dog. She had hives. Yes. Okay. You can actually triturate. Now that you're learning compounding, you can pound, but the correct term is triturate. If the only thing available in there is tablet, don't worry about it. You can actually triturate that, okay? Pound that using mortar and pestle. You may add apple juice or water if you don't have the liquid available or you think the liquid is just expensive. So you can do that because the tablets, the pink tablets are cheaper, okay? Just do the correct dosing. Now that you know math, you know better. Okay, you can just chop off Benadryl because each one is 25 milligram tablet. You need 12.5, you chop it in half and then triturate that or use a mortar and pestle to pound it, etc., etc. Oh, 4th of July. So when they're scared, they have hives. Oh, wow. Okay, to make them sleepy. Okay, God, okay. So for Elizabeth's dog, she gives it for a hive. For Shauna's dogs, on 4th of July, because you already know there'll be fire, you dose them off. Oh, okay. Be very careful though, okay? That's why Benadryl is not given for to children younger than 6 years of age. You know, some babysitters, they actually drug their the kids they're watching with Benadryl. So you might want to put away Benadryl when you're having somebody watch your kids, okay? I take Benadryl when I get in an airplane for the trip, especially when I'm not with my son, because it helps with my vertigo, my motion sickness, okay? And it doesn't help me sleep, but it kind of helps with the vertigo part, okay? But of course, Dramamine, diphenhydramine, you heard that, okay? Same family, okay?